Going live. And we're live. Hello, friends. Welcome to the penultimate episode of Talking Clones with myself, Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I am joined, as always, by two of the greatest Force users in the galaxy. To my top, I have Paul Anthony. I spaced it there for a second. I wanted to call you Neil. And to my bottom, in the bottom position, which does not denote any, anything. Anything. It doesn't denote anything. There's no innuendo there. Thank you. I've got the Nev. Welcome, gentlemen. Oh, well, interesting. Today, we are going to talk about Shattered. This is the second to last episode before the series finale of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. This is episode 11, season 7. All right. I've got my green... Hold on. Not only do I have the one green cup, I have two green cups. Just in case... Can't hear Paul and Nev. Well, son of a... Hold on. Do you really need to hear Paul and Nev, though? And the answer is yes. All right. There we go. I had my desk turn audio turned down all the way. Give me a shout out.
Can you hear us now?
Perfect. Too many spoilers.
Is that better, is it?
All right, now, sounds good. Okay, so, gentlemen, the episode is out. There are parts of the world, before we even jump into this, there are parts of the world where fans have seen the final episode.
They got the it's May 4th there,
It's
so
May 4th.
So it's out.
Yeah. How are you going to avoid spoilers for the next 24 hours?
I have to work
Yes.
tomorrow, and I will basically not be putting my nose to the grindstone and turning off notifications and everything.
Just ignoring Discord, ignoring Twitter, Nev,
Ignoring the internet.
Ignoring the internet. How are you going to avoid it, Nev?
I'm gonna go do some gardening.
Oh, well, there you go.
You got your GAC
And I'm going to do some gardening, and then I'm going to do my GAC. And I swear to God, if anybody says anything in my GAC chat, I'm going to kick off. Paul, if anybody says anything, Instaban.
I'll be spoiled as well, and we'll be spoiled together.
Instaban.
Yeah, it will be an Instaban. Like that's okay. So we've waited years to figure out this, and as much as I think we all loved, we gave the last episode of 5 of 5, like a 5 per 5, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It was
1 to 4 got a 5.
Yeah. So the question then is, I think one of the things that was interesting to all of us was the Battle of Mandalore ended. Right?
Yes.
It was ended. And so this episode starts with the wrapping up of that battle. And the first thing that happens, and you have to be paying very close attention to it, is Ahsoka gets her lightsabers back.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that straight away. I think, I did. I saw that. I noticed that immediately.
Yeah.
That she had her lightsabers back. So somebody had obviously retrieved her lightsaber.
how?
Bo-katan. The answer, jetpacks. And plot devices.
Yeah, there are tiny little. I was actually discussing this with Paul. I was in a Twitter conversation with somebody regarding Return of the Jedi, and how Luke didn't have any weapons when he was dumped into the pit with the Gamorrean guard in Jabba's palace. And I was trying to point out to the person that he didn't have his lightsaber because it was in R2, but why didn't he look for the pistol? The pistol. Why didn't he look for the blaster that fell into the pit with him and the Gamorrean guard? Because he could have just used that pistol to, he could have used the Force and made sure that his shot blasted out the eyes of the Rancor or something like that.
Here's the actual answer: continuity errors.
Okay, Paul, and elaborate on that one, because
I mean, if somebody has an item and then they don't, and then either A, they all of a sudden have it again, or they can't find it. I can understand the blaster was lost, but
that's the storyboard director's fault. Then continuity errors are the storyboard director's fault. Then
what?
The storyboard director is responsible for making sure that each of the scenes gets set up correctly.
Then what's wrong? Then the thing that is wrong with all of this, to be honest with you, is that just like when Anakin got his lightsaber back because he lost it, in the chase and Attack of the Clones, hang on to this. Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. They should have had the same sort of thing happen with Ahsoka. Like Bo-Katan should have said, keep better track of these.
Yeah, it should have.
Yeah, all it would have required to correct the continuity error is a line. But if they've already animated it and they've already voiced it, the storyboard director, and I mean ultimately the buck stops with the director. The director should have noticed the continuity error.
No, I agree. Now,
but it's a small it's only a small continuity error.
And Neil, there was plenty of time for them to, they did a lot of things without any voice recorded lines, and that really bugged the crap out of me this time around.
Wait, hold on. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, again, first off, I was totally off the wall. I'm like, are we talking about like the old canon or okay?
No,
so
we're talking about this episode.
okay, I was lost for a second. Yes, there's a lot that goes on without any dialogue, without any interaction.
This is you've watched Super. You've watched the movie Super.
Yeah.
Right. You've watched the movie Super. They talk about it in Super. What happens between the panes of a comic book? Her getting her lightsabers back is something that happens between scenes that we just never see.
Yeah. And we're shown this. Now, when it comes to storyboarding, I found out today Dave Filoni does not storyboard this.
Oh, does he not?
No. So,
well, how the hell do the animators know what they're animating if it's not storyboarded? You do a storyboard for an anime. I mean, that's freaky. That's weird.
There was a if you go in, and maybe I misunderstood the interview, but if you go and you watch this week's episode of Star Wars, the Star Wars show. Thank you. It was one of the people interviewed Dave Filoni and George Lucas, and I want to watch the full interview because it's fascinating. Just the clips that I saw were just absolutely amazing. But they talked about how what was bringing Dave Filoni on, like how did it start, so on, and George Lucas is like, no, we're not storyboarding this, and every episode needs to be made as if it were a film, as if it was a full feature-length film. It doesn't matter.
Still more to film, though.
No, I get that. But like the concepts that they introduced and the stuff that they did, and it's really fascinating. But in that interview, he specifically said, I was a person who came on as a storyboarder, someone who storyboarded everything, and George Lucas was like, nope, we don't do that. And so like I want to watch the full interview because it was just a short. I mean, it was the episode. The Star Wars show this week was 22 minutes or something like that, which I feel like is a longer episode than normal. But like, anyways, this bit here was from a previously recorded interview. So really want to go back and watch that. Anyways, a lot of this is not spoken dialogue. There's a lot of interesting moments though. Before, like once Ahsoka gets her lightsabers back, Rex comes up to her. He's like, "Hey, I've got the people online. I got the council online," and it's Yoda, Mace Windu, Ayla Secura.
It's that scene.
It's the scene that's actually.
It's the scene from episode 3.
Yeah.
It's the scene on the screen right now.
Yeah, it was the scene that was on the screen right when I started saying that. I was like, "Ooh, perfect timing." But it was. What's interesting about that, it is shortly after Anakin reports he goes to the Chancellor. It's also shortly after the scene shortly before the scene where Cody comes on and is giving information, right?
Yeah, and it's also during yeah, I mean you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah,
but...
so it's anyways. So but I gotta say, like it was cool to see old veiny guy, Ki-Adi-Mundi. I don't know.
Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Yeah, 5'17" head, right? Because he's got the
slap head.
Yeah. Ki-Adi-Mundi and Ayla Secura right before they're about to die, right? And then I was a little pissed off at Mace. Did Mace bother any of you guys? His reaction to Ahsoka?
It's like, you're beneath me because you're not part of the council.
Yeah. Like,
see, if I was Ahsoka, I'd have been like, well, I'll tell you what then. I just won't deliver Mace Windu. I won't deliver Maul to you then.
Yeah.
Just, fuck you.
I'll just let him go.
I'll just let him go.
Which she does later on, but that's not because of Mace. But like I was like, man, F you, Mace Windu. Like, better Jedi have fallen. And Bo-Katan even says this. She's like, look, you did it when others couldn't do it. You finished it. And he is the height of arrogance. Yeah,
he is. I mean, he's. I mean, look at previous scenes where he's dropped down and it's like, I've killed millions of you. You can be reprogrammed and join, or I can just destroy you. And it's like, my God, you've got your head up here. But the thing is, he's that good.
He is. No,
he's
like
that. People that are. I mean, and he skirts the dark side and all sorts of. So he's allowed to be. It's a bit like world class sports people. World class sports people tend to be arrogant twats.
Yeah,
because they are the best. Look at perfect example, Venus Williams.
Yeah,
without a doubt, one of the greatest tennis players that's ever existed. My God, is she arrogant though? And because she knows she's the best, and she knows she's one of the greatest tennis players ever. Same can be said for Lionel Messi, who's a footballer.
Yeah.
So Neil, I've actually met her, and she didn't come off that way when we had her on a radio program, but
she was attracted to you, Paul, and it was your animal magnetism that subdued her. I think we can all agree that it's probably Paul's animal magnetism that brought Venus Williams down to.
I do not look like Rios from Picard.
to her, you must.
See, if you'd looked like him, you'd have been in trouble. She'd have been like, "Hey, you cheeky fella."
Yeah, it would have been terrible. Let's
blow this tennis match off.
Dr. Feelgood points out, like it could be because she. She's like, I did my duty as a citizen. And then Yoda's like...
He refers to it, yeah.
Yeah, as a citizen. And then that's actually how he points out, he's like, look.
He refers to her.
Yeah, this is
as a citizen. Yeah,
and so he might have felt betrayed, right? I mean, he may have felt betrayed that she won't be coming back, and I could see that. I mean, that's a good point, Dr. Feelgood. I didn't think about that. Like it's something that the Jedi is such a unique. It's a family, you know. It's such a tight knit group that any betrayal would cut to the quick to pretty much everybody. And so like Barisafi, right? Was it Barisafi or is the other one? I keep thinking, or her Padawan. I always get. But,
no. Barisafi was
she's
Luminari's Padawan. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like when Barris betrays the Jedi, it was a huge thing. When Dooku leaves,
She tried to fame Ahsoka. Yeah.
Yeah, when Dooku leaves the Order, it's like this huge betrayal. And so maybe that's what it is. Maybe they just feel, maybe Mace feels betrayed. He's like, look, we're coming to a close. Everything's going. Why would you not want to come back? You know, I can actually see that. That's a valid point, Doctor. I hope you are a doctor, and I hope your last name is actually Feelgood, because then that's just awesome on so many.
Well, he would be the one to make you feel all right.
That's right. So.
We do that joke every show.
I gotta say, so there's this, but he's not big.
He's not even big enough to get a rework.
No, he's not. So one of the things that's actually interesting about this, though, is Mace's response about taking the power back and what they were willing to do to overthrow Sidious, and he says, like, if he's not willing to do it, we'll go in, we'll take the power, and the Jedi will govern. Now, clearly, it would have been a temporary thing, but even Yoda's like, this is a dark path we walk, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of those moments where I was like, that's all right, that's kind of cool. A very, very quick back and forth, but it does show that there were some people who would have been okay, some Jedi who would have been okay with kind of letting Sidious, his story, play out the way that it would have, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we know that several Jedi survive Order 66,
Yep.
but we also know that after Order 66, between episodes 3 and 4 in the old canon, there were lots of comics where the Vader went out and hunted down Jedi that he'd heard of. If there was a whisper of a Jedi, somewhere in the galaxy, Vader would be dispatched
and he still does
to go and defeat.
He does in the new ones.
Yeah, he does. We know that he hunts down F. Koth. Which, if you're ever interested to read that, I think it's just a one-off comic where Ethkoth is fighting Vader, but it's a cool comic. But he does go through and he finds after the Jedi. I'm curious to know how quickly he establishes the Inquisitorial Squad. That'll be interesting, and that'll be some speculation for the end of the show. But I spaced it. So Ahsoka is asked by Grandmaster Yoda. I had to throw in Grandmaster because I forgot his name, but I remembered his title. And I was like, if I say Grandmaster, it will come to me. So Ahsoka's asked, is like, hello. Hello. So Yoda's like, hey, so are you coming back? And he's like, I'm not yet. Right? Which is an interesting thing, because I still feel like Ahsoka is going to be one of those characters who helps Luke rebuild the Jedi Order. What do you guys think? Do you think that's possible? Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think I'm dead wrong?
Wow. That's a heavy question.
That is a heavy question. She's around for it.
she's around for it. We'll see where she's at in Mando because of the timetable for Mando as well. We know she's around for that.
Yep. Nev, any thoughts?
Ask me the question again. I was saying hello to someone in chat.
Do you think Ahsoka will be around? Like when she says not yet, do you think that alludes to the idea that she's going to be around to help Luke rebuild the Jedi Order?
I mean, it would be nice, but yes, with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni in charge of Lucasfilm. No, with Kathleen Kennedy in charge.
All right.
I think that storylines like that depend entirely on who is in charge of Lucasfilm in 2021. Good
point. Good point.
Because all Lucasfilm are doing at the moment, and Marvel they're just doing all of this. We've got this High Republic thing that I don't really care about, and then we've got Cassian coming, and we've got so there really is no way of telling what we're going to have until there is a new head of Lucasfilm. But I like the idea. It's something that I can get on board with. Mm-hmm. It's definitely something that I can get on board with, because the sooner they restart and reboot a middle-aged / younger version of Luke Skywalker, mm-hmm. the easier it's going to be 10 years down the line to re-retcon Star Wars from an animated point of view.
That's true.
Because I would like to see the TV series go off in a completely different way from the movies, just like Marvel did with the Marvel TV series and the movies. The crossover was hinted at, but it wasn't cemented. So you had separate Marvel TV shows going on in a completely similar timeline, but the stories weren't connected to the movies. And that's what I would like to see moving forward with the TV. So having Ahsoka and Luke in the same TV show, whether it's animated or live action, would be pretty incredible. I think that they would make an interesting pairing for sure.
Great.
Because she would want advice from him. He would want advice, because obviously his only two teachers were Obi-Wan Kenobi. His only two physical teachers were Obi-Wan Kenobi and Grandmaster Yoda. I mean, he was taught the dark side by Palpatine, mm-hmm. but would they incorporate something like that in the storyline, because that's old canon? And then you've got all of the teachings that he got from Jedi holocrons as well. Vim Daboa was another Jedi master that taught him and trained him, but he received that training from a Jedi holocron. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it would be great I think it would be awesome to cross those two paths.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Okay, so then moving on, right? She leaves. Before she leaves, Rex is like, "Why didn't you talk about Anakin?" Right? And I was watching a video today that talked about, had she told the council about Maul's vision for Anakin, things could have been very different for Ahsoka, and not just Ahsoka, the entire Jedi Order and galaxy.
Honestly, coming from her, I don't think that Maul would have taken it with a grain of salt.
You do?
I don't think he would have, and he would have
Maul or Mace.
I would have been blind. He would have been blindsided just as he did when he became Mace Windu.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't think that anything Ahsoka would have said would have changed the interaction between the Jedi and Palpatine in his office. I don't think any of that would have changed at all.
Yeah.
Had she got in touch with Anakin, maybe, but you can't retcon something like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
That is way, way, way too big a retcon.
Yeah.
That would totally screw up episode 3.
I completely agree.
I mean, they're happy to retcon stuff that happens in the original trilogy, but we've had
it's too soon.
Episodes 1, 2, and 3, and the clone. There's too much retconning going.
It's only been 20 something years, 30 years since 20 years since episodes the prequels. We need another 20 years before they start messing with more prequel stuff.
Exactly. But any new retcons, they need to give it at least another 10 years before they start retconning anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. So they get on the ship. Before they get on the ship, everyone's walking out, right? They're all lined up. Mando's on one side, the clones on the other, which I think is a very... it's cool. I mean, clearly they were doing it because, they were the Mandalorians and they were the clones. But at the same time, when those clones become Order 66 clones, I think it's still going to show the divide, right? I think it's a cool... I'm reading way too much into it here, but I think it's a cool moment where it's there's still a divide. There's still a thing where they're like, oh, they're separate, right? Anyway, so they bring out Maul, and he is in essentially living carbonite. Right?
Yeah.
And, it's a relic from a bygone era. It is
It's the last one.
It's the last one. We found it in storage. It was in Satine's,
basement.
We were going to sell it to a pawn shop, and, the guy wouldn't give us the money. So there's this, crazy moment. They're like, oh, hey, this cool thing. And you just see Maul's eyes.
Mm-hmm. And that's all you need to see. His eyes say everything.
And I saw something, and it was something with Filoni again, and he was talking about showing this story through the medium of animation, and if they don't say anything for a minute and a half once the ship gets on, once everything starts going, right? And just like you guys were saying, there's long periods of no dialogue. And
this episode should have been called Castaway 2.
Castaway 2.
With the sheer amount of no dialogue, I'm sitting there, I'm going, okay.
Yeah.
Go. So already there's two things that bug the crap out of me about this episode.
Okay.
Was Ahsoka Tano getting her lightsabers back without us understanding how that happened. and then no dialogue at the beginning of the episode. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get that this is a somber moment, but somebody say something.
Yeah. It's because that's the thing is when they're flying, they're talking. Ahsoka and Rex are talking, but it's that music and
that music was so beautifully ominous. It was just
yeah. Darth Hideous points out is the music was eerie. It was creepy. It was so well done,
and it built up to it. It was weird. Normally music has kind of like a crescendo, up to a point where the music pops, but it was a crescendo without a crescendo. It kept the same tone and the same tempo all the way to the point where all of a sudden she felt it.
Yeah. And
she felt the disturbance in the Force, but it wasn't just her that felt it. Maul felt. You saw his eyes just go absolutely nuts. It's like, oh my god, what I saw, the vision and everything. It's because that what he's feeling and what he remembers from his visions are what Anakin's doing.
Yep. And oh my gosh, I gotta say, it didn't bother me like I think it may have bothered you, Paul, like the quietness, the somberness, because I was looking at this as not a filler.
It was.
It
was filler.
But I'm looking at it as a greater whole. This is a movie, right? And this is that moment in the movie where things are about to like climax, right? And it's quiet before the storm, you know?
But then they should have released it as a movie and not as this is an episode of the Clone Wars.
No, I agree.
Yeah, these should have been feature-length episodes. Yeah. I'm remiss as to why they didn't do these last 2 episodes as feature-length.
Yeah,
at least
these last 4, like this last story arc, and I think the answer is because the middle story arc, the middle part of Ahsoka, was so weak that with the Martez sisters, that it just wouldn't have been as effective.
So as it is, I'm going to say this. As it is, we agree that there should have been a 2-episode Martez arc, but they made it a 4-episode Martez arc.
Yep.
And now they have 2 episodes up until the capture of Maul. That should have been a 4-episode arc.
Yeah. I'm curious to know how it all pans out. Like,
well, we'll find out tomorrow.
Yes, we
during the watch party. Oh, I'm so looking forward to that.
And real quick, if you guys want to join the watch party, you have to be a Patreon. Twitch subs aren't going to get this. You have to be a Patreon of either Going Nerdy or the Escape Podcast, and we will send a link to our Patreons. And then Going Nerdy will do the same, to where you guys will join us for a watch party of the final episode. I'm going to be watching it up here. You're not going to be able to see it because we've already come up with a little way to, change it. But you're going to basically see me going.
Yeah. And I will be watching it on my monitor up there. So I'm going to be sat like this.
Yep. I'm
going.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to cry.
Yep. So they get on the ship. Maul's taken away. Maul's put into prison. Ahsoka and Rex go to the bridge, and there's that moment. There's the conversation where Ahsoka. And this is.
Can we say that the device was for Hannah Maul Lecter?
Hannah Maul Lecter. Yeah, we could. I gotta say this moment between Rex and Ahsoka is a very powerful moment, and it shows the bond between the two, and it shows Rex's uniqueness. And one of the challenges I think that they've done a great job with, as they've taken clones identical in genetic makeup and the way they're created, and made them unique. And Rex, quite possibly the most unique of all of them. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe not. I mean, that might be. I'm sure there's
Bad
others,
bitch.
But he's up there, right? And he's got this connection to Ahsoka that we've seen throughout the series, and that we see in Rebels a lot. But I think it's that connection that causes him to hesitate once he receives Order 66. But that conversation, right? So Ahsoka just says, look, the Jedi's are keep of the peace, but I've only been a soldier. And it's just such a powerful moment, That's
what happens in war. That's what happens during war.
Yeah.
Some people are born into it and raised in it. She started off as a kid during a time of war.
Yeah.
So all she's known is war. because the Jedi Council effectively drafted themselves to be the generals of the Grand Army of the Republic. You know, they didn't have to. The Jedi Council could have took a step back and said, hey, look, you know, we're not officers, you know, we don't have military training. We're just Jedi. So, you know, we're not going to take charge of it. But they, you know, that's how it was written. You know, that is how it was written straight away.
Yeah,
that they were going to be in charge of everything. You know, they were going to be the military arm. I mean, look at the episodes with Tarkin. Tarkin was never happy with the Jedi being the generals. He's like, you're not military people. You have no military training whatsoever. Why are you in charge of the military? So so it's sad when she. I mean, my heart genuinely goes out to her when she says that. You know, I've always been a soldier. Because she's sad. She's not. You can tell that she's not happy with the fact that that's all she's ever been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why she has such depth as a character.
Mm-hmm. And
because she's constantly fighting with it.
Yeah, because and we see that in this episode. We saw it in the last episode, and you know, for better or worse, we saw it in the Martez episodes where she realizes like this is. You know, there's more to this galaxy than just what I'm doing, and my choices and my efforts are affecting people in a way that I never intended or never thought possible. And it's just powerful. It's just like you said, her character is it's just really well developed, and one that's probably developed more than many others. I mean, they've spent a lot of time on this character. But
it's one of the reasons why they brought her back for Rebels.
Yeah. Then.
So we get the Order 66. We get the fight where Ahsoka's fighting the clones that are trying to assassinate her. By the way, I called it.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. I didn't. I genuinely thought. I said that I didn't think that they would attack her because she's not technically a Jedi.
Yeah. I
mean, Rex is stood next to her.
Mm-hmm.
So Rex knows. So his brain knows she's not a Jedi because she's in that meeting with them. She's a citizen.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, after that meeting, I'm thinking to myself, this is it. This is why she's not going to get killed because the clones aren't going to see her as a Jedi.
Same. Yeah,
but it didn't. The chip, the chip in his brain, the chip in their brains, overrode what they knew to be factually correct. She is not a Jedi. She is a citizen.
Yeah.
But obviously, the chip is like, no, force. I'm starting to think that the basically Order 66 wasn't kill the Jedi. It's kill all force sensitive people.
I think possibly too. Or else, why would Rex just say, "All right, go kill Maul"? You know, that was the one thing that felt out of place to me. Because
he's force sensitive.
But he's not a Jedi. Maul's never been a Jedi.
Exactly, which is what is making me think now, years and years after the first time I know about Order 66, is Order 66 isn't kill the Jedi, it's kill all force sensitive people. Palpatine wanted him and Vader to be the only force sensitive people in the galaxy.
Yeah.
So, okay. Right now, hang on, guys. I don't have the duck around me right now. I'm going to use this one. Spoiler duck if you have not read Thrawn books. All right,
you can. I don't care. You can. I'm not.
No, not for you. For our listeners.
Others. Yeah.
So,
The way that the spoiler duck works, I'm going to take the spoiler duck away when I'm finished talking about the spoilers here. All right, 5.
So everybody out there, put your fingers in your ears and start humming.
Yeah. So, all right. So, what does that mean for the Chiss?
Oh,
what does that mean for the Skywalkers?
Yeah, I think that could be the pull that Palpatine was feeling when he was feeling other. Because if you think all of the Jedi are now gone, and when Obi-Wan says when Alderaan's blown up, he's like, oh, they've disappeared. A light went out. The same feeling must have been what must have happened when the Jedi were around, and that would have created a vacuum of Force-sensitive beings, right? Of people who could really tap in or knew how to tap into the Force. But it would have also like opened up this void or this map of people who were like, oh well, maybe I'm not strong with the Force, but I have the Force, and
but we know that the female Chiss, the Skywalkers, are Force sensitive, and they use the Force to navigate the hyperspace lanes.
It's prominently female, although there are cases of male Chiss having the Force.
I think
it's Thrawn.
Thrawn
has the Force. He totally has the Force. And it's worn out, but like I think by getting rid of the Jedi, Palpatine then heard or felt that call from beyond the Outer Rim, where it's like, oh, there's another threat out there, right? And I think the ascendancy.
All right, so can I put spoiler duck
down?
Okay. All right, welcome back.
Come on back. If you haven't listened to, I say listen to.
The following message has been approved by Thaddeus from Going Nerdy.
If you haven't listened to
or signups,
and I am, if you haven't listened to and or read the Thrawn books, there's 3 of them out now. There's a 4th one coming out in August or July.
They pushed it back. I'll look that up while you explain this fun thing.
You need to check out in the links below. I have a link where you can sign up for Audible. You get 1 month for free, 2 free audiobooks, plus you also get, I think, 2 free audio originals, and they're usually pretty good, the originals. If you haven't read Thrawn, do it. It is amazing. Now, I was never a huge... I liked Thrawn. I respected him, and I liked the Thrawn books to an extent in the old canon. I love Thrawn in this new canon. And the way that these stories are told are hands down some of the best storytelling in all of Star Wars new canon. And I gotta say that there's still, even though the Nev may never join into it or buy into the new canon, there's still a lot of really good books that are out there. And this is hands down one of the best. It's so good. You see a lot of different faces from, in book 1, you see a lot of these faces you're familiar with. You're introduced to new stuff. You find out what happens to freaking Admiral Yularen, which is huge in my mind. I'm still hoping that Yularen survived the Death Star. I'm just saying. But like, there's a lot of cool stuff that goes on, and Thrawn, if you're not an Imperial fanboy, like I'm not, I'm always Rebels, I'm always Galactic Republic, I'm always even Resistance. I didn't really care for the First Order. They weren't a huge threat to me. I'm always for the good guy side. Thrawn shows you that there's something more to the Empire than just villainy. And it's powerful. Like, I just, hands down, I cannot say more good things about the book Thrawn. It's amazing.
I imagine the book is excellent. I mean, the author it's Timothy Zahn, you know. It's God King Timothy Zahn, you know, the king of all hail Timothy Zahn. Mm-hmm. You know, so...
Yeah. And that's the thing, is it's like, it was created by the man who created Thrawn. So it's not some random person just picking up and saying, oh, I can write a Sherlock Holmes story in a galaxy far, far away. It's a guy who already did it, you know, and who created one of the best characters in all of Star Wars canon, old and new. So anyways, where was I?
We were talking about Order 66 being a Force-sensitive people, not just...
Tangent alert. We really need to start doing tangent alerts.
Yes. Yes. 10 minutes later. So they go in. Rex is like, I'll take care of her, and then he gives her that little moment. I didn't see it at first, but Rex had tears in his eyes when he was about to fire on Ahsoka. You have to look real closely, but it's like the whites of his eyes are a little misty.
He was struggling.
Yeah. He gives her that last little bit about Fives, and then he opens fire. And, Ahsoka escapes. He
kicks ass.
Oh my gosh, that scene. Like, I'm watching it with my kids this morning, and my daughters are like, what's Rex doing? Why is he? And I was like, oh, child, if you were a youngling, you would have been murdered by Anakin. like
October. They pushed it back to October.
Okay.
But here's the fun thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
Because they have to wait. Every single release day book and special editions are going to have Thrawn blue on the outside of the pages.
Cool.
I read that.
That's cool.
Read that the other day.
Thrawn.
Yep.
So I typically get my audiobooks. Like, I typically listen to audiobooks. But Thrawn is the one series that I'm going through and I'm collecting them. Like, when the world burns and, all governments have been destroyed and whatever, and we're left without streaming services or whatnot, I'm going to have the Thrawn trilogy to keep me company in those dark
I will have my Star Wars books to keep me company. and all my comics that I scanned as JPEGs.
Yeah. And don't...
Every comic I've ever bought, I've saved as a JPEG.
That's smart. I will say, without getting into any tangent here, Darth Hideous, you're tempting me way too much. Dr. Aphra that comes out in June. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited.
So excited.
Okay. So we move on, right? They go through, it cuts to Maul. Maul's in that chamber.
About to be executed.
And Ahsoka saves him, right? And this is a really cool moment. Like, Maul thinks, hey, she's come to her senses. She's going to work with me. And Ahsoka's like, no, I need a distraction. You're it. Go do some stupid stuff. Go make some havoc. Go run some havoc.
But it's the next line that's the best.
Yeah,
He asks for a saber. I'm not rooting for you.
Yeah. I still want you to die.
Yeah.
And
give me a fighting chance. I'm not rooting for you.
Powerful, right? And I loved that. That was such a cool moment, right? And then, she goes off. She finds the droids. Maul goes and does what Maul does best.
That was it. That had me thinking. It was like the Vader scene from Rogue One, where you just see his lightsaber light up. You just see him slowly walk around that corner with a very deliberate pace, and it's like, you are all going to die, and I don't even need a lightsaber. And he's just ripping panels off and
and slicing
such
off
a
heads.
badass.
Like, it was just like, I almost hid my
Heads and
kid's
arms.
eyes. I was like, maybe you shouldn't watch this, child, but I didn't, because I'm a good dad. And they need to know that if a Sith is coming after them, they just need to run. They just go. But yeah, he slaughtered those clones. And that moment when they're running away and he pulls the arm through the door, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. And dark and oh my gosh, it was good. It was just good. Then Ahsoka goes and finds her droid friends, which I thought was hilarious. Fun fact, CH-33P, the one with the little dish that looks kind of like Chopper, actually voiced by Dave Filoni. And
They so like putting the directors so like putting themselves
I
in,
know.
didn't they?
oh,
But
so
R7, it was R7, and you know what R7 is, don't you?
yeah, it was her other droid.
No,
Right?
it's GK. No, it's GK. It's
Oh,
General Kenobi's droid.
I didn't know that.
I think. I mean, I didn't realize. I actually think that they're on the negotiator.
They could be.
I
They-
think that they're actually on the negotiator.
Backing up to the room where Rex where Rex and the clones were attacking Ahsoka, she chewed through into hyperspace. Would that have imploded the ship?
No. What do you mean?
You saw hyperspace lanes above.
Yeah.
You saw through the ship into the sky. I mean, we had freaking Leia Poppins surviving in space. Why weren't they floating? Why didn't they suffocate?
Inertial dampers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make to pose a scientific question in our fantasy space.
Yeah. Don't ruin this with reality. Come on. So Darth Hideous asked if the R4 was GK's droid. GK had a lot of droids, if I'm not mistaken. He went through quite a few of them. So I think it was more than just one or two. But anyway, so we go through and she finds all of this information. She sees the report from the Kaminoan. She sees Rex's report, and she is able to get that information and then trap Rex. Right?
Yeah.
Up until this moment, I'm watching this and I'm still thinking Rex is just playing along. He's trying to find, and he was not. He was clearly trying to kill her. But she does a thing. She says, "Look, Rex, you were right. They're controlling you. There's a problem here. You need to. I can fix you, right? I can fix this, and I can fix you. You just need to trust me." Clearly, she's not going to just let Rex trust her, and so she turns around and R7 shocks the crap out of him. And so they take him to the med bay and they try to find the chip. Now this was interesting to me because they couldn't find it, and as they're scanning it, she touches Rex's head and she says, "I am with the Force is with me."
Yeah. She pulls the wills.
Yeah.
I like that line. I'm thinking to myself, yeah.
So cool.
I like that.
And what was neat to me is actually seeing Rex repeat it, right? And because it wasn't just her, because he was saying it too, and like
It transitioned to him saying it.
yeah,
the
exactly.
audio.
And then they find it, they start taking it out. I just this moment where she's trapped. Right? And that's actually how the episode ends, with her being trapped. And she's sitting there and she's telling the droids, "Hey, keep the door closed. Keep it closed or we're all going to die." and even
Gubatine puts out a really good point. Think of how we would have been reacting to all of this if we had not had Rebels and we had not had the Ahsoka book.
I think it would have been different. I honestly think that it is those things that help build her up. Right?
Well, not just that. We wouldn't know that she survives.
Oh.
We would be like, oh my gosh, she's
We wouldn't
about
have,
to
yeah.
Yeah,
busted.
I see what you're
Exactly.
saying.
We wouldn't have known that she was a survivor of Order 66 without seeing her in the Rebels.
Yeah, no, that makes 100% sense. I see where you're going with that now. Like before, I was like, well, I mean, I became a fanboy of Ahsoka with Rebels, but you're right. Like knowing that she survives changes the fact that like there would have been so much more tension had we not known what happens to her. And wow, good point. And this is why you don't cancel TV shows that are good. Like you just don't let them run their course. Let them finish their storytelling. And then once they're done, don't pull a Scrubs, change platforms, and relaunch the show trying to save face. Because, and this is just me. If any of you watch Scrubs,
Scrubs season
was terrible.
Season 9 was worse than 8, mate.
Oh, was it 9? That's what I'm thinking.
Season 9 was Season 9 was the
teaching hospital.
Yeah,
that was dumb.
It was crap. It was bloody horrendous.
Oh, so bad. But 8, it was tailing off. But
I still liked 8. I liked 8. I thought 8 was good.
Yeah, I did
because 8 was Dr. Cox becoming Tangent Alert. Season 8 was Dr. Cox becoming the chief of medicine, and JD taking on the role
of Dr. Cox.
Of Dr. Cox, the guy that's always fighting the chief of medicine. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I liked 8 so much.
Yeah, so this is the reason why you don't end shows before they're done, right?
No, you don't change lanes.
You don't change lanes. But as the stormtroopers, the clones,
Community did well.
Sorry, what? What did well?
It did well when it transitioned to Hulu or Yahoo screen.
Did it?
Yeah, it did well. It wasn't people aren't watching Yahoo screen. When's the last time we reviewed a show on Yahoo screen? But still,
it's like ever. Like because I remember finding ways to watch the first season of Community on Yahoo Stream without paying for it. I'm just going to leave that there. Hey, I'm a rebel. I rebel.
I've never watched Community, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Just as a side note, I may have a visit from a pirate here in the next couple of days. I'm very excited about it. So, I broke down and made some purchases in my.
You finally got him. Okay, good.
I've made some bad quarantine purchases, and that's not one of them. That's not going to be one of them. That's not a bad. Anyways.
You're still in quarantine?
Yeah.
So I thought most people didn't give a shit about that anymore.
I know. Well,
nobody gives a shit about it in Illinois.
No, and it's I'm in quarantine, but as a teacher, I'm teaching online now. So, and as my wife is a teacher, she's teaching online, and so it's like we don't leave the house very much. Anyways, but it's just crazy, and I won't even get into that. Whatever. Where was I? Oh, so the door's opening. The droids are failing, which they do from time to time, right? And while Ahsoka is doing her best not to harm the clones. Do you guys notice that? She's not like firing these bolts back at people, at those that are shooting her, aiming to kill. She's like pushing them out the door. She's throwing them all over the place. Emperor Gubatine, thank you. You stay and you don't have to worry about quarantine. And thank you for your service. But like as she's doing this, like you see the movement, right? You see Rex's hands shake, And see, that's why I'm in quarantine. Corona. Anyways, you see his hands start to shake, and he finally pulls the guns, and he is the one that stops the attack, right? He kills the clones. He saves Ahsoka again, after many years of doing it, and he goes through, and they're able to close the door. They're able to seal it, and then you know, I don't think I noticed this, but does Rex call her kid often?
Yeah.
No.
I don't like.
I think that was the first time that he referred to her as kid.
Yeah, and
He didn't refer to her as commander or anything.
Yeah,
He referred to her as kid.
Yeah, and I think that was part of the inhibitor chip. Now that it's gone, he
doesn't have to follow orders.
Yeah. Rex is free, right? And and that in and of itself is such a cool moment, right? But he drops the bomb. He's like, look, the Jedi are public enemy number one. Like, we're all after him, right? And like, it ends there. I mean, and there's almost I don't know, but it seems like there's pain in his voice when he says that, right? And maybe I'm reading too much into this, but like, it is just this moment where it's like, this is a tough thing for him to do. Like, he's free. He's free, and yeah, he's free to stop, to be.
Yeah. And
to have
we
emotion.
thought that he took it out himself.
Yeah.
You know, the collective of us thought he took it out himself when Fives died.
Yeah. And
But
like,
boy, were we wrong.
oh yeah, which I mean, it makes me wonder how, you know, in Rebels, how did those others, once they retired from the Galactic Empire, or once they were disbanded from the Galactic Empire, did they get the chips taken out? Did Rex turn them? I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities, right?
Yeah, and him having to shoot his own brothers.
Oh, yeah. And that's tough. And that's the other thing too. These aren't people that he didn't know. These are the 501st. These are the people that he fought with.
Brothers in arms,
right? This is yeah, like the face when he was taking the orders from Kroll, the many-armed Jedi, right? That was, again, a very powerful episode. But here he is taking out his own family, right? Because it's what's right. Man, I liked this episode. I did.
I did too. I must admit, I liked it. I liked this episode.
I'm not viewing it as filler. I'm viewing it as artistic.
Yeah, it's Dave Filoni trying his hand at cinematography with animation. It doesn't quite work, but I can appreciate what he's trying to do. He's trying to go for those long, expansive cinematography shots that you would normally see in movies. Like, for example, the eerie music scene that we see in episode 3, where it's going from Padme to Anakin to the Jedi Council, because there's not an awful lot said during those few moments. It's just silence as they're all kind of like looking out.
Yeah.
And I think Dave Filoni's trying to do that with animation.
At least there was action on the screen during Order 66 and you seeing all of that. When it came to this, you're going, okay, they're staring out into the space. Okay, they're hearing voices. Okay, they're looking at each other.
Yeah. But
at least there was action and like, you know, Ayla Sakura like, ah.
Yeah. No, and true. That's but without rehashing it or taking it into like blending those concepts, right? Without showing what we've already seen and doing something totally new. I think I'm okay with that. Paul?
Goob, I'll get to that in a moment.
Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I think that's I thought it was a really interesting choice to make when it comes to showing how Ahsoka faced Order 66. What were you gonna say, Paul?
All right. So I mean, we've already run over our hour. We usually do. And so I think I think we should go ahead because we got to get up early and avoid the internet all day tomorrow for our watch party for our Patreons, which I hope all of you have an opportunity to join if you are a Patreon.
Don't forget, they also have the opportunity to watch a live streamer for the first time ever go back-to-back triple Kyber on Twitch. GAC tomorrow, 12 o'clock. That will be my GAC stream. I've already done, I did last GAC stream. I did triple Kyber, and I could. Yeah.
We plug our stuff at the end of the show. Not
right, okay. I thought that's what you would do. I thought that's what you were doing.
Let's wrap up. But do you have something to say, Paul?
So I'm saying that we should start wrapping up here.
Yes, that's true.
What I want to say is that this episode, to me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rate it right now.
Okay, go ahead.
4 out of 5.
Okay.
This episode, if somebody came in and said, hey, let's go check out what this Clone Wars is about, and they flipped the latest episode on as of 11:08 p.m. Eastern or Central Time right now, if they flip the latest episode on, they're not going to know what the hell's going on if they're not a Star Wars fan.
That's true.
This episode entirely is it, as they said, as Goopatine said, it was really an artistic episode, but watching all 4 episodes all at once, you might feel different.
That's a valid point.
I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch all 4 episodes after we finish Talking Clones tomorrow, as my final way of saying goodbye to Clone Wars. But this episode, as a standalone, is a mind screw for people who don't know what's going on.
All right. Neil.
5. Love that.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 5. However, the only thing I wanted more, but I think I'm gonna get more. Right? Artistic, it was beautiful. I thought it was really well done. I thought it was really well put together. The long moments, the long pauses. I think I would have a different number if I had to wait an entire week to go from this episode to the next. I think that would be a problem for me. But as it stands, I really did enjoy. I thought it was great. So I'm going to give it a 5. So that puts us at 4.75. Math? I don't know.
Yep, math.
Okay. Tomorrow, we are going to do our live stream at 8 Mountain Standard Time, 9 Central. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
9 Central. We do the no, I thought we were going to try to do 9 Central for Talking Clones. We're going to do 8 Central for the watch.
Okay. So,
although saying that, think about it. Just from a logistic point of view, the episode is 21 minutes.
Yeah.
So if we start watching at the top of the hour, it's going to be 40 minutes until we do the show. Is that the way that we're doing it? Are we doing it that way?
No. I was thinking I was thinking so, just so we, if we need to go back and watch something ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
That makes sense. So, Paul, give us those times again.
All right. So 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Thaddeus time, 6 Bale Right Papi Chulo time. So 9 o'clock Eastern, Patreons will get the link.
Yep.
Then at 10 p.m., our standard normal time of doing Talking Clones, May 4th edition, the Escape Podcast and Going Nerdy together for the final time for Clone Wars.
So Talking Clones will be on this channel.
Yes.
And
the watch party will be Patreons only on Escape Pod.
okay. All right. So join us there tomorrow. If you're not a Patreon now, you still have time. You still have time up until the episode starts. And so let us know. I'm excited, guys. I
am.
I will say that thinking that I was watching a trailer for the preview of what's to come, I spoiled a little bit for myself. And I'm a little angry. I won't say what it was. I'll tell you guys tomorrow after the episode. But I'm very stoked. I'm very, very excited. I think this is a great way to end the series, the Clone Wars saga. I'm very excited to see what comes out of this. So join us tomorrow, and I think we can just do a quick sign off tonight instead of doing the long, because we'll do all the other stuff tomorrow. But
we'll say our farewells tomorrow.
Well, except for Neil will be going for Triple Kyber tomorrow.
Yeah. I will be going for triple, not just Triple Kyber, but back to back. I've already had Triple Kyber in the last GAC. I'm going for an all-time first, retaining my Triple Kyber status. So it'll be double Triple Kyber.
All right. And you can catch that on the Escape Podcast Network or on Twitch
channel.
Okay.
Twitch channel, 12 o'clock tomorrow Central.
All right. So catch Neil doing that. And then join us tomorrow. So with that, gentlemen, Paul, can you say your farewells?
I will, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Be nice to each other, damn it. Wash your hands. And remember to smile.
And stay nerdy. Ta-ta. That's Nev.
Ta-ta. Ta-ta for now.
And now we take the longest few minutes to actually end